Hey everybody, how's it going? So today we are checking out the plugin suite from SONIMUS. What they are a collection of console emulations, EQs, and a compressor, all priced to be very affordable. I've been playing with these over the last month or so, and a few of these are really becoming favorites. I also like the fact that there's no iLock requirement. Registration is done via a registry update in Windows, and that's something I've never seen before. It's quite clever. I don't use Mac, so not sure how the install goes there. Good luck. What's also great is that there's no monthly subscription fee. Once you make a purchase, they're yours. Hey, what a great idea! So let's start off by looking at the console emulations. There's two flavors, Britson and Statson. The Britson is modeled after the classic British 8014 console, and the Statson, well, they're not telling. I think it sits more on the 4000 series, but hey, I could be wrong. The whole idea behind these is to add saturation like you would get from mixing on a classic console. So both of these give you a channel and a bus. The channel goes on your individual channels, and you can add buses to your submixes and your master bus too. The channels are great as they've got a trim control, high pass and low pass filters, and a fat switch for additional saturation. And you can drive them pretty damn hard. All right, pretty cool. Now let's check out what happens when we swap the Statson and Britson emulations across an entire mix. Okay, that's the console emulations. What about the EQs? Well, they've got four different ones to choose from. There's the Stone EQ 4K, which really reminds me of an SSL EQ, and I'm loving these for heavy guitars. I used it on my Mjolnir demo recently, and it gave the guitars a really nice lift without becoming gritty. Next up is the Burnley 73 EQ, which is their take on the Neve 1073. 3 bands, high pass filter, gain and output controls, and you can drive the level as well to grind things up a bit. Like the classic 1073, all the frequency choices are made to be very musical and easy to work with. Next up is the Sweet One EQ, and it's an extremely simple EQ with a high and low pass filter and a tone knob. There's a couple of switches to add in extra saturation as well. The whole idea behind this one was to create a simple but very powerful EQ that sounded great. The fourth EQ is the Sun EQ Pro. It's a 4-band EQ that really reminds me of a Pultec. The low frequency controls are boost and cut. Crank them up together and you get some really cool resonances, just like a real Pultec. There's 2 mid controls with a switchable Q and a really great high band that adds some air. There's also a cut switch below it where you can choose between various low pass and high shelf combinations, once again, very reminiscent of a Pultec. Last up is the Tuco tube compressor, and this is shockingly versatile. In fact, those 2 full mixes demonstrating the console emulation use the Tuco exclusively. I don't think I've ever only used one compressor across an entire mix before, but it really works great on a lot of different sources. The controls are dead simple, and it's quickly becoming my favorite. Okay, so now I'm going to switch over and break down a mix for you guys a little bit and show you how I'm using the SONIMUS plugins. Here we go. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to take you through the 4 different EQs I'm using on this mix. Let's start out with the bass guitar. And what we are using is the Sun EQ Pro here. I'm just using it for a nice healthy boost in the high mids, like about 4 dBs at about 2 kilohertz. And it's got a nice clean snap, and you can really add a lot of air if you want. And it doesn't get spitty. So that's a big plus. But if you see over here, the low's got 2 controls. One's a boost and one is a cut. And this was where it gets interesting. I'm going to move this up to 100 hertz. Take a listen to this. So we're just going to add in massive amounts of bottom. Then we bring in the cut. And so you start to get resonances, and that was very reminiscent of a Pultec. We'll throw this on a bell mode here. bring this back about here. Pretty cool feature, I gotta say. You know, on the bass guitar, it's probably not going to help the mix to have a huge, massive bottom end boost. There's already so much bottom end in this mix, but it's there if you need it. Might be cool on super heavy guitars, that kind of thing. Okay, moving on. The next EQ I find myself reaching for all the time on guitar is the Stone 4K EQ. It's just, it's great for adding some top end, and it's wonderful for, like, you know, boosting in the like 8 to 10K region, especially on the metal guitars. If you listen to my Mjolnir demo, we had a healthy amount of that going on, and I just find it really helps shape the guitars. Pretty damn cool. Next up, over on the snare, we've got the Burnley 73. There's more of a raw sound. And like I said, this is based on the Neve 1073 EQ, which is incredibly musical. I mean, like, it's just got, you know, EQ points at all the right spots. You know, nice 10K lift, a little bit of a 220 boost, and a cut at 700 hertz, and that's it. And then you can drive the channel however you feel, and you got your switchable roll-off. Fantastic. Next up is the Sweet One EQ, and I'm just using this. Just a nice high roll-off, and it's just a little bit of sweetening in the top end, and I mean just a wee bit. We turn that off, we get... Bring that back in. Just like to get rid of the mud in the overheads. I want to hear the shimmer and the sheen. And I like to get the bottom end from the actual close mics. That's a trick I learned from Andy Sneap many, many years ago, and it's something I still use on pretty much all my projects. So that's a big plus. So back on bass guitar here, the other thing we got going on is the Statson channel, where you can just drive your channel. You know, add in your fat control, and you just lard things right up. Proceed with caution. Yeah, that's a lot of fun, but you can probably do a lot of damage with that control too. So just watch your gain. Don't drive things into the reds too much. Of course, I've got the bus going on the whole mix as well. So you can see I got a fat control up here and a trim. The trim control is an absolute must, especially on your master bus, so you can keep things from, you know, just getting too far out of hand and whatnot. I got a pretty heavy duty cut going on there, and it's pretty cool as well. I really like this whole thing. And last but not least, my favorite thing, I think, out of the whole suite has got to be the Tuco. It's just so rude sounding. It's wicked. You know, it's got a drive control. And it's dead simple to use. You got this slider here for your compressor, slow attack, fast attack, limiter, slow attack, fast attack. That way, if you're not familiar how to use compressor controls, it's hard to mess this one up. It really is. And then just set your release time, the amount, and then your output so you can balance. Now, I got to say, I'm really impressed with the Tuco on room mics as well. Because you can just smash the crap out of them. That's my room mics before anything's done to them. But I love the mix control here. So we can leave the transient untouched. Even though we're smashing the crap out of it with a compressor, we're blending some of the original transient back in. Okay, cool. That's got a nice thump to it, doesn't it? Holy crap. But there's so much bottom end going on in this mix, I don't want a lot of bottom end in the room mics, otherwise it's just going to get muddy as hell. And once again, the Tuco is being used as mix glue as well on the bus. Just a couple dBs of compression going on there. Like I said, I'm super impressed with the Tuco because it's just so versatile. And I got to say, the presets on this are spectacular. Somebody really put some thought into these when they developed them, because I find they're a great jumping off point for whatever application you're going to use it on. But that is the first mix I've ever done where I've completely used the same compressor on every channel, just in different setups, and it works spectacular. So hats off to SONIMUS for that. I'm really blown away by that plugin. You can grab these plugins over at sonimus.com individually, or get the entire suite for only $2.99. Special thanks to SONIMUS for sponsoring this video, and you guys for checking it out. I'll see you next time.